In 10 plus years of my own financial journey, I discovered 10 easy money tricks that made me save more money. Man, I wish I knew them sooner. Now, if you're anything like me, you want to build wealth, but you also don't want to take cold showers and sit in the dark in order to save a few bucks on utility bills. So let me share 10 easy and simple habits that I applied to save more money without really restricting my lifestyle. If you're new here, I'm Sophia. I hate living frugal and I love to build wealth. That's why I'm always on the look of how we can achieve both. And let me start with number 1. You probably already know this one. I just want to get it out of the way. I pay myself first. So I transfer my savings rate right after I receive my salary to my savings account and or investment account. And I do have that automated. So what can I say? It's easy, it's simple, and it really does work. Number 2, and that was surprising for me, is look at leftovers. And it was surprising because I was taught to avoid at all costs to save at the end of the month. But in fact, and honestly, I discovered this recently. But when I look into my bank account right before I receive my income and I have something left, then this is money I do not need because my expenses from the last month were already covered and all the bills from next month are going to be covered by the salary that arrives tomorrow or the day after that. So I move that leftover money into my savings and or investment accounts as well. And that is already the second win in 1 month. By the way, I do not transfer all of it, but I do transfer the bigger part and the rest goes into, and that is my tip number 3, have a fun account. I swear this account has changed my life and how I enjoy my money forever. So I have a separate account that is just for fun and I transfer money there from my leftovers. And if you want, you can also, transfer some money from your regular salary. And from that account, I buy all the things that I really enjoy. So not rent, not electricity bills, but shopping for handbags, going to fancy restaurants, stuff like that. And I don't ever regret spending something from this account. So this one really helped me to overcome the guilt of spending. Just in case you ever had that. Money saving tip number 4 is cancel subscriptions. So when I, for the very first time, looked through my expenses in detail, I discovered that I was still paying for a phone contract that I thought was canceled. Yeah, don't ask me. So for you, it may be something different. Maybe it's an app that you signed up for 3 months ago and you never open it again. And I mean, to not pay for something that you don't use anyway, I would say this is saving as easy as it gets, no? I found out about mine by using an Excel sheet that I have used ever since. I type in all of my expenses, it counts them together, and then I see how much I spend within different categories. And that was what allowed me to spot this still not yet cancelled phone contract. If you want to use this Excel sheet as well, there's a link down below. It's free. Number 5 is use the 24-hour rule. When I used to go out shopping in my early 20s, I would just go into the city and buy things that I found beautiful in the moment. And also that was still within my budget. But then 5 rounds of clearing clutter later, I became much more conscious about what I buy. And one method I used for that was the 24-hour rule, which simply means to wait 24 hours before you buy something. Now these days what I buy has become more and more expensive. That is why my 24-hour rule turned more into a 24 weeks rule. So the more it costs, the longer I wait to see if I really like it and need it and still want it in a few weeks from when I saw it the first time. With some things I wait even years, but then you do run the risk of, the thing not being there anymore. So it's important to find the right balance. Tip number 6, also maybe not the usual one, but it's surround yourself with financially smart people. And I remember once I started talking with my friends about money and also about investments and how they manage everything, it got so much easier. Because now it wasn't just me alone second guessing, it turned into real discussions about, for example, pros and cons. Now, just in case you're not sure you have financially smart friends, you can also surround yourself with me by subscribing to this channel. My tip number 7 is use generics. But before I dive into that, I want to state that if it's really important for me, then I do buy the original. One example would be, I'm filming this video on a Sony camera and I needed to buy a battery charger, and I also wanted to buy an extra battery so I can film for longer. And for those two things, I decided to stay within brand. In this case, it was one of my buying principles. And I know that there are cheaper alternatives out there, and also the reviews of those cheaper alternatives are pretty good. But for some reason, don't ask me why, for those like additional thingies, I just wanted to buy from the same brand, even when it was more expensive. But there were other things where I really don't care. And one example that comes to my mind, let me get it real quick. My dentist told me to use those little thingies to clean my interdental space. And he told me to use them additionally to flossing. And when I looked for them, there were two versions I could buy. There was one package that had like 8 of those thingies within, and it was the higher price. And then there was this one, the generic, which has 32 pieces inside and had a lower price. And in this case, I really do not care. So I buy the cheaper one. Now both packages are still low in price because we are talking about, I don't know, like a few cents or a few bucks here. If that really influences my net worth, debatable. But I don't know, this is something that I just don't buy only once. Like for example, the charger. I buy this continuously. And why would I pay more for something when I really don't care? So I do not want to tell you buy generics all the time, because this may not be aligned with your values. But instead, what you could do at least is to take a look at what you buy continuously on a daily or weekly or monthly basis and evaluate if you really care about, going for the original, whatever original means, or to go for the cheaper version. In the end, I just think it's important that you align your decisions with what you really want, what you want financially, but also what you want, to have in your life. Tip number 8 is maximize free money. Making your tax declaration and getting a tax refund basically is free money. And I made my tax declaration even before I made money, because I knew that as a student in Germany, you can take advantage of being a student for later when you first start to earn money. And many people either don't know that, or they know, but they don't do it anyway. And they miss out on what could be a few hundred or even a few $1,000s, or in this case, euros. Using tax advantages when investing is also free money. Check the fine print beforehand, but for most people, this is usually the best option. Same goes for employer matches. If your employer matches the money that you save for retirement, then this is free money as well. I could also throw in cashbacks here, but to be honest, I've never used this. I don't really know why. Maybe I'll try it at some point. But if you do use it, be careful that you don't end up spending more on things just to get the cash back. Do you know what I mean? My money saving tip number 9 is avoid debt. Now, I did that from the start because when growing up, I just learned to never go into private debt, and I did not. And why I'm putting this into this list is because the interest that you pay on your debt is a type of cost. So this is pretty much extra money that you have to pay, but you could have saved instead. And one strategy to avoid that could be have an emergency fund. And another one, if you already plan for bigger purchases, then start saving towards it, because then you end up paying less because you don't have the cost of the interest rate. And my tip number 10, and this last one, is not really to save more, but it is rather to turn your saved money into more money, and that is invest your money. I did not want to leave that unmentioned in a video about money habits. Good money habits. If you've enjoyed this video, you also might be interested in signs you're doing well financially, so I recommend this one next. Thank you for watching and happy saving. Bye bye.